He's not the romantic lead, no.
No, and the character he gets to play in this is one of my favorites from this movie. And, you know, I will pull back the curtain from amongst the three of us that Sean has never seen these films, and one of the first comments he made as he watched these was that this was not exactly the best amongst the Planet of the Apes films, and it's not. And I kind of hate that Claude Akins' character gets lumped into this bad film, but I still love him. I still love him in this movie.
Yeah, one of the standout figures in Apes mythos is this particular character.
Yes. So we also get Natalie Trundy. She's back once again.
Right.
And what do we suspect she'll be playing in this film, Sean?
Well, I'm going with Lisa. I'm figuring, you know, they're bringing everybody from the last movie over that had a somewhat major role, even though she wasn't very prominent in that movie.
Yeah, if it's Caesar's story, right? But she's been a little all over the place, right? This is her third film, right?
This is her fourth.
No,
film.
she was in
Beneath. She was in Beneath, Escape, Conquest, and Battle.
Okay.
So I think that's a safe assumption, Lisa, even though Lisa's a little milquetoast, so I would not be against Caesar kicking her to the curb and saying, I need somebody with a little bit more to offer.
Natalie doing something else. But you have to think about the fact that if you're a fan...
Get some orangutan tan.
If you're a fan of this franchise and you see Roddy's name up front, that's great. But you also want to see some more familiar names. So seeing Natalie's name up on the screen, particularly, you know, prominently so displayed, as a fan of the franchise, you would be excited about seeing her again. Okay, cool. We got some of the cast back.
Yeah,
right.
I wonder how did fans... I'm trying to think back. How did you communicate back then? You obviously had no internet, no message boards, nothing yet. Occasional conventions.
Letters, little flyers.
Yeah.
Fan clubs or email, little, promo stuff out.
Starlog magazine famously would cover a lot of science fiction and things like that.
So
you might have known a little about Natalie Trundy. I'm curious what they might have known by that point. Is kind of why I mentioned that. But we also
I think Apes fans, the movie fans would know, but I think that, the casual audience wouldn't know who she was. She wouldn't.
I'm going to look up when
credits to her.
I don't know how active people were, if like Hollywood Reporter, if people were trying to get that outside of the industry or not.
Yeah, I don't think that Variety and Hollywood Reporter became more widespread until the 90s, I think, when the internet hit. Obviously, trades and industry people read it, but...
Hollywood Reporter was established in 1930, so...
but it was an industry trade, and in fact... if you start looking at when did they start taking reviews from Hollywood Reporter and Variety and pushing them out as more than a trade review, I would guess that's probably the 90s when that started pushing. So I don't think anybody would have read that stuff widespread outside the industry. Anyway,
notice that the shot, the 30-second shot with him coming straight to the camera, that had to be the first take, because if you look, he's making a trail. The horse is making a trail, and there is no other trails with horse prints on that. So it is the first take.
They probably did one take of all that. I mean, why? If you know you got a good exposure, the gate's clean, then move on. We also see, and I'm going to probably mispronounce his first name, but Severn Darden. Do we realize who that is?
Yeah. No.
Richard?
I mean, I know who it is, yeah, but I don't know that the movie audience would know. I mean, he played a lot of roles, was character actor all over the place, but I don't know if he's recognizable by a movie audience.
Well, to us, we would recognize him from the previous film because that's Culp.
Nah.
Right. So we've got, what did you call him?
Well, I guess it'd be
fingers or something. We called him something.
What did I call him? It wasn't that or something.
Yeah, sausage is really rude.
But it's what they called him in the script, right? They was stubby finger. Remember, the script had a note of what this finger was.
Yes, I think you're absolutely
something like that. I'll go look it up. I'll go find the old script and look it up.
But then lastly, in our credits, as Sean said, we officially get the sign off that was John Huston that we saw and heard as the lawgiver. And we
get Lou Ayres as well.
Oh, you're right. We do. I looked right past Lou. My bad.
And he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actor for a film, 2 decades earlier? So his name might bring some comfort to the movie audience. They might know him from that. He has a big enough name to put up there.
Wow,
I really
Richard, look at you.
Well, I looked all these names up to figure out if I could kind of like remind myself who they were and what they did. I looked up Claude and Natalie and Svern, and Lou was like, oh, okay, like, because I honestly, when I saw Lou Ayres at first, I'm like, was he in one of the previous movies? And but I went and read his bio, and I'm like, oh, he had quite a big recognition before this. So you get Roddy, you get Claude, you get Lou, and you get John. I mean, those are the 3-4 big names coming up front. And when I go, okay, I'm in for a movie, you know.
So, I'll spend 90 minutes here.
So, you know, as I'm looking at Lou, and I will admit, I kind of skimmed past him, and I'm a little disappointed in myself because he was in All Quiet on the Western Front, which, if you've never seen the 1930 original film, that is one of the seminal anti-war films ever created, and you should see it. But things that stand out as you scan past it, despite his awards and critical acclaim, let's see, we'll start with the end of his life. He died in 1996, just 2 days before his 88th birthday, but the man during his time was married thrice. He was married to Diana Hall for 30 years. He was also married to Ginger Rogers.
Wow.
And he was married to Lola Lane, who I guess is Lois's sister. I don't know. But he was also a lifelong conservative Republican, which will make this group kind of go, Oh, my God, Sean. What I misquoted before, he played the Galactic President in the original Battlestar Galactica.
All right.
So we have seen him in many of things, but
right.
Also, he appeared in 3 Best Picture nominees, All Quiet on the Western Front, State Fair, and Johnny Belinda. So I've seen 2 of those. I've never seen Johnny Belinda.
We also formally get to say that John Huston is the lawgiver because it actually puts that name there.
Yeah.
We, debating whether we talk about these elements we know about these characters and who they are beforehand, but we can formally call him the
lawgiver.
Yeah.
So I wonder, as we step into this film and we know the next film we're going to have to do, and we'll at least 2 of us will collectively groan, is the Tim Burton film. I'm curious about the first of it, how different the credits are going to be. Because again, that will be post the change in 1977, where you're no longer required to put all of that information up front. So I'm curious to see what we'll get. I'm sure we'll see Donnie Wahlberg's name up front, probably Helena Bonham Carter. I just wonder how deep it'll go past that.
So honestly, the Roddy, the Claude, the Natalie, Svern, the Lou, and the John Huston, that to me is what we would get today. I
would agree.
People they think they would know, plus the with or an and then we'd go right into we'd see the director of photography, we'd see the director,
writer.
And that'd be about it. Right, that'd be about it.
Yeah.
We'll get Paul Giamatti. We'll get who's the heavy, the bad guy.
You talking about the new movies?
Tim Roth.
Yeah. We'll get Tim Roth, and then we'll get the guy that's in the Green Mile. I'm blanking on everybody's names right now.
I love you going through the credits of the new movies. Well,
yeah.
Who do we get from the new movies?
We'll get those people. We'll get 5 or 6 people.
Those are your fantasy casting of any movie. We're gonna get.
Well, this minute again, lots of writing, lots of aggressive, tension-building music. And lots of credits. There's not a lot of storytelling.
Would have liked to have seen some desert on the other side of that ridge. And the countryside looks English, not American to me.
I think of great credit sequences, even like David Fincher films, where it's more about setting a feeling for a film. I think back to, and I can't remember the visuals now, but the opening of his version of The Girl with Dragon Tattoo. If that doesn't make you automatically feel like, oh God, this is just kind of wrong and out of step with the way I think the world should exist, you watch a film like that, and it kind of tells you what you're going to expect. This film doesn't tell us much. We get writing, and again, I would have liked to have seen, I think you can tell a little mini story within these opening sequences, and it could have set a little bit more of what we'll see in the coming minutes. Why is that guy riding a horse? Where's he going? Could have just built a little bit more.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
You gotta remember, we're 5 minutes into this movie, and this is the first kind of new stuff we're getting, and it's not actually giving us anything.
Yeah.
No, and honestly, I don't know how you would have done this. We could kind of guess between the lawgiver and the horseback riding, but kind of this opening sequence with the horseback riding, I didn't need the clip show 2 minutes earlier. Yeah. I would have been fine opening with this, or something along these lines.
But then again, I think the opening scroll of Star Wars is a clip show in and of itself. So
then we could have done something like that instead of actually showing it, because all the tension and the world burning that happened in the elements before kind of just set me up for something more dramatic than this opening scene. I would have been fine going into it from here.
I totally agree with you. I think what they did would have been more powerful, where we would see some of the faces of people, apes, whatever, watching the lawgiver tell a story, and he's almost like a fire and brimstone preacher to an extent, that's giving something, take the clips out, then go to urgency within it. And the film just kind of has that, boom, here it is, but at the same time, I think that films at that time, they really didn't know yes, we're going to get the fans that want to see this, but passive audiences, have they seen the previous films? Do they know what's going on? They kind of need something. So I'm sure that's why they did it. Anyway, I think that's just about it. Anybody got anything else for that?
No.
All right. Well, we will call minute 6 wrapped up. And we'll also say, hey, go out, visit us on social media, interact with us, let us know that you're there, let us know what you like, what you don't like. Let Sean know that Babylon 5 was not the greatest science fiction show ever created.
Been fighting words.
I did that just to get a rise out of him, and I did, but we want to hear from you guys. We love the interaction, so you can find us on pretty much anything. Twitter, you can find us on Facebook. I think we have an Instagram, though I don't know that that's been updated in a while, and I'll make sure that it is. Until then, interact, let your friends know, spread the word. For Richard and Sean, I'm Todd. Everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
The minute of the apes.